Welcome, weebs, to another episode of All Filler, No Thriller, the anime filler arc review podcast. I'm your host, Anime Danime, and with me is Bob.
Took a bite of gum gum?
Dr. Aggro.
Don't give it up.
And Chris Wolfhart.
Ugh.
And that's right, this time we reviewed G8, the 11-episode filler arc for One Piece. This is the only anime One Piece I have seen. How about our other hosts? Bob, you have seen a lot.
I've seen a lot now, like over 900 episodes.
Chris, how much have you seen?
I watched up until like episode 200-ish and then switched to the manga.
Dr. Aggro?
I read a bunch of the manga, but I've only seen like one episode of the 4Kids dub just to see what it was like.
For people who want to watch this arc, this is episodes 196 to 206.
Okay, I guess I watched like 150 episodes because I did not see this, obviously.
This is apparently, as I'm told by sources online, the 5th filler arc in One Piece.
I believe this is the third time I've seen this filler arc.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That good. You had to keep coming back.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's amazing.
This is the one filler arc that is universally pushed by anime YouTubers and One Piece content creators as the good filler arc. The one.
Yes, right? For people who haven't been watching, we just came from the Naruto Peddler Escort Mission arc and the Garlic Jr. saga.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an interesting contrast to those.
Yeah, this isn't just pushed as the one good One Piece filler arc. This is pushed as the best filler arc in anime, period. And comparing to other One Piece filler arcs, yeah, those are usually, hey, this guy has a devil fruit power, it's kind of stupid. How about 5 episodes about that?
Yeah, I always remember the villain of the first One Piece filler arc. That fucking weird guy with like a terrible haircut and he throws air beams. And he has like big fingernails, like a sickle weasel fruit, except they hadn't introduced the animal characters yet.
Mm-hmm.
So he just has, like, he looks like, I'll have to post a picture of this motherfucker because he's so dog shit looking. He looks almost like the main character of Ghost Trick, and this would have been about the same time, I think, except he looks much worse.
Oh, that's terrible.
Wow, yeah.
Oh my god.
And then weirdly, other One Piece filler arcs, maybe they go into a movie or something, but they'll do like 2 episodes and not really wrap up the story, and they just go back to the main story.
Yeah, they usually go into a movie.
Okay, that would explain some of those.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what happens with the guy who's like, I eat metal ore and get big.
Wow. Impressive. For people who haven't seen the G8 filler arc, let me go ahead and briefly summarize. So apparently at the end of a thing they called the Sky Island Saga, where the Going Merry, the ship of the Straw Hats, is supposed to land in the ocean, it instead lands inside of an unclosed enclave of a marine fortress just covered in turrets. And so we get 11 delightful, goofy episodes of the Straw Hats running around trying to not be caught. This sounds like dog shit.
Right.
It sounds terrible. This is not only the best anime filler arc I think I've ever seen, because we didn't get a whole arc about Piccolo getting his driver license.
Mm-hmm.
It is just good television.
Yeah, I was just watching One Piece. It was great. I can't remember the last time that I got to just do that. Watch an anime series that wasn't dog shit.
Right, it just feels like more content from One Piece. It doesn't feel like a weird different
pretty much.
thing.
Uh-huh.
It feels like a pretty normal chunk of, like, okay, you're kind of between arcs in the shonen anime. It's gonna be more low-key for, you know...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your cooldown arc.
Yeah, it's like a cooldown arc, which the actual series did have that they now have to go into immediately after this.
Mm-hmm.
But it is tonally is very similar.
I was so happy I finally got to see this because I'd heard of this because of its context, not its content. I always heard that right after the Skypiea arc, One Piece had a filler arc where they fell out of the sky at the beginning and then ended the filler arc by going back into the sky so they could fall into the canon again.
That is indeed what happens.
I think it's super funny. Something that really sticks out to me is the waiver. They make a big deal of getting the waiver back to the ship because it has to be there. And that becomes a recurring theme in all filler while the waiver exists.
Now, I know nothing about One Piece that is outside of the live action Netflix.
Right.
So when you said the waiver is important, I'm like, there's a piece of paper that's like really important to these guys. And then I saw the vehicle. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Like, get those pirates. Excuse me, we're not pirates. We're privateers. We have a message of writ.
Yes. Back off, buddy. I think what really helps nail this being so good is that the characters are very compelling. The chemistry is firing on all cylinders all the time, nonstop. We're mixing up who's with who's doing what. We have funny shenanigans for every group of people. It is a delightful time the whole time, and it is sickening that we went from the Naruto filler arc, the peddler escort mission, to this. They could not be more different.
They couldn't.
Right?
I think something that really helps is the filler characters they make are made to be characters, not made to be like, oh, this guy is strong enough to fight this One Piece character. Because it's not an arc about fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
That helps it so much.
It's different. They switch it up. They have it, like the sneaking around the base mechanic for the arc is golden. It's a cool, neat thing for your characters to do instead of fighting strong guys, which is important to have in a long format series.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not in the filler arc in your long format series, especially when your filler arc's 5 whole episodes, and your idea of a strong fight is usually throwing shuriken at the ground and running for the first half.
Jesus.
I'm so glad to learn that this filler arc is like universally acclaimed because I was watching it going, fuck, this is the filler? How good is the One Piece anime?
It really makes you wonder, especially if you like the live action Netflix adaptation.
The next arc, I honestly kind of forgot existed. It was like, people can't possibly be saying that this is better than the Water 7 arc. That's what's next. It's like, no, you left out an arc in between this and that.
Oh.
That was pretty bad.
I like that arc. It's kind of bad in the anime where they triple how long it is.
Okay, I could see it being a third the length and maybe okay, but oh my god.
They have to play this stupid fucking game with this dumb asshole. It's like a pirate. Is
a pop-up pirate?
No, it's this weird like sports competition that pirates invented where the loser loses members of their crew to the winner.
Oh no.
And it will never be brought up again. Don't talk about it.
It might actually be brought up again.
It might be. The One Piece is really good about that. Watching the intro to this and being like, wow, those characters got fleshed out like 500 episodes later. It was pretty funny.
They sure did. But in the in the manga there's only 3 events. And I think in the anime there's like 7.
It did just keep going.
According to this One Piece wiki, this was originally considered for a movie plot. And that kind of makes sense. It has really good structure in it. There's even setups and payoffs in this in a way you don't expect in filler arcs ever.
Right?
Yep.
Like I could not imagine them making a movie like this though, because it's not action focused. Like I expect when you make a Shonen Jump movie, it's like all action.
This might have been around the same time as that they were producing the 6th movie, which is really tonally different than all the others and like structurally different. Also, it's a Mamoru Hosoda film.
Is it bad that I didn't
weird.
even know there were One Piece films before this recording?
A little bit.
The only anime to come close to having the only anime to have more movies than One Piece is Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I actually have never watched a single One Piece movie, even though I've known about them for years. I've been like, well, I haven't watched the show. I need to watch that. Now I'm mostly caught up on that, so I guess I can watch the movies sometime.
Because you got to watch the movies.
They're pretty They're weird because like there is 7 that are pretty Dragon Ball movie-esque. Like it's like here's the last arc again. Then they do retellings of old story arcs, like with changes and heavily truncated because they have to be condensed down into.
Yeah, the typical anime condensed movie thing.
Then all the most recent ones have had some oversight from Oda, the creator, and they aren't canon, but everything in them is real. Like the characters in them exist in the story of One Piece. This story just didn't happen.
Huh.
I love the doctor they made.
She's really good.
The filler doctor's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
like her. Her screaming is also very funny.
It's amazingly funny.
Her and like the fact that like the old monkey mechanic is her dad. Like the whole base is developed. This is it's filler, but it's also well-made anime. Like somebody crafted this correctly. It was surprising the whole way through.
Right.
This filler also maintains One Piece's dedication to respecting kitchen staff, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it's also like it feels like a real arc because there's so many consistent characters in this location that they're in.
Right, and they all play off of individual one or Straw Hat crew members. Like Nami and Chopper working with the doctor is really solid, and so is Sanji with the cook.
So if you're listening to this and wondering what the sound is, we're getting pounded by rain, so don't let that distract you from listening.
It may in fact be hail.
Ruh-roh. One thing I like is that Drake, the guy with the pork chop sideburns, he's in a lot of filler and he's always chasing them and gets owned.
Oh, is he? I did not
that's
notice
really good.
he was the same guy.
Yes, he's this lends credence to it originally being a movie because he's in movie 4 and 5.
Huh.
And I think actually all the characters from this arc show up in the big war where all the Marines are. They're in like one shot. It's like, yeah, we're here. They called everybody in.
We weren't fired. That's weird.
We proved our value.
It's fine. The guy that was going to inspect them accidentally caused the Straw Hats to be able to escape. And he probably was permanently traumatized by Robin breaking all of his bones.
God, well, what's the name of the base commander? I can't remember because it's very
I think
generic.
it's just Jonathan.
Is it Jonathan? I'm
Yeah.
like, he's not Captain Jeff. I adore this arc's conceit of him playing, he's literally playing chess in the show, but he's metaphorically playing chess against Luffy, who is like a pigeon on the other side of the chessboard.
Yes.
Yeah, he gets there's this thing in a lot of anime where if you want to show a dude is smart, you just have him finger blast a chessboard. And it's like, and the pieces never make sense, and there's never really any coherence to what he's doing, but they sure do it.
Well, then they mix it with him being a fisherman and add that aesthetic in, and it really works.
Yeah, no, it's great. He keeps saying fisherman things, and I'm like, man, they sure did develop this dude. They love this guy.
And they didn't feel some weird need for him to have a devil fruit power that's dumb, so he can fight Luffy at the end.
And I'm not trying to say anything about your anime filler arc villain and who she should be voiced by, maybe, if you want him to be good, but I would like to note this man is not voiced by Troy Baker.
A very important thing.
No, instead of a terrible plan and dumb powers, he's got a cool wife who's awesome at kitchen stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
The funny thing is, based on One Piece power scaling, he probably could have whipped Luffy's ass. At this point in the series, vice admirals are supposed to be pretty tough.
Yeah. I was waiting for it, honestly, but he was so casual about everything. He's like, whatever, he's fucked anyway. What are we going to do? Get up? No.
The thing is that this is a little bit of one of those filler things of doing the thing that's coming up next in the filler, because they do meet one of the real Marine leaders, like an admiral, like one of the top 3, like almost immediately after this. And his whole thing is that he practices lazy justice, which means he doesn't give a shit. Like, I think he starts taking a nap while talking to them.
That's real good. Honestly, I found for Jonathan it to be kind of imposing the way he acted. Like it doesn't matter that he's playing a toddler, he's going to play the long game. He's the kind of guy who beats you in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have, not for the flying octopus that Luffy had on his dick.
Yeah, the whole arc, apparently. Let's see, the way it's different from when the real next arc happened is Luffy, instead of shoving that in his pants, just lets him go.
Oh. Yeah, that's slightly different for the octopus.
See, you know it's filler because he had to fill up his pants with that octopus.
Oh, is that? Wait, what was Garlic Jr. doing?
Taking an L.
Something about a belly beam. I'm not sure. That might have to do with the octopus.
God. Speaking of DBZ, I had forgotten how early 2000s Funimation core this dub was.
Oh yeah, it's all over.
They're all here.
It's
They're all here.
It's literally the DBZ voice cast without Sean Schimmel. It's incredible.
Weird. It's weird. Was Sean Schimmel not voice? No, I'm looking at my document. He was voice acting at the time. I think he's in Kappa Mikey even. Why was he not in it?
It's
so
such a mystery.
strange.
Nobody can figure it out.
Sunny Straight's just doing the Krillin voice, and I get it. It's the correct choice. It works.
It is.
But every time Usopp speaks and he's not on screen, I'm like,
Yeah, no, it's something I've really enjoyed about going through the One Piece. Like, the dub is great. It's really good. Just all these classic voice actors kind of nailing it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to hear Krillin get to do stuff. Like, Usopp gets so much more to do in One Piece than Krillin ever got.
It's true. Looking this up, it seems like Sean Schimmel basically doesn't work in anime except for being Goku. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is.
We have no idea.
Why that
we have
is.
no idea. There are no obvious conclusions to draw from any of this.
Sad we didn't get Patrick Seitz in this season because he wasn't introduced yet.
Oh, what a shame. It's okay though. I think we did a flashback to Jerry Jewell as a character, so I got Jimmy Kudo. And technically, Luffy is supposed to be calling Clickenbeard, right?
Yes.
So I technically got both case closers.
Right.
oh my God, those flashbacks.
Is Patrick Seitz dub Frankie? Is that
Yes.
okay? That fucking makes sense.
See, we had the good flashback, and then we had the relentless roundtable of flashbacks to pad out half of an episode, and I started losing it.
Yeah, I think this arc is really good, but
are we doing a clip show in the middle of the filler? This is amazing.
Dude, what the hell?
We had like maybe 3 more episodes than we should, so we had to have a whole episode that was a clip show.
One Piece does that kind of a lot. Like I'm sure Bob experienced this going through it, where they get up in the Ineos lobby arc where they all get up and are about to face off with the villains. It's like, we're fucking out. Here's 12 episodes of the rookie tier shit.
Yes, it's something they do, but it's really funny to do it in the middle of a filler arc where it's already just filling time.
I'm skeptical of this note on this wiki for One Piece. Under the G8 filler arc, it says, under trivia, this arc currently stands as the longest anime original filler arc, containing 11 episodes. Is there not a longer one in One Piece?
No, One Piece doesn't typically do filler arcs at all. They just destroy the pacing of the actual anime.
Yeah, no, there's a reason I can get
hear.
through it so quickly. I skipped 10 minutes of each episode.
Wow. Incredible.
Especially now, I mean, Bob watched the Dressrosa arc and he's like, oh, they're showing the audience react to things. Let me skip ahead 3 minutes.
See, here's the thing. I feel like I could do this for Case Closed because if I just go past what was released in America and then skip every episode that's directly ripped off of Columbo, I would get through it pretty fast, I bet. Because for people who don't know, at very least early on in Case Closed, the filler stuff they wrote for original for the anime is just like, yo, that episode of Columbo was great.
They're going to run out of episode of Columbo, so.
What if I did a really thin version of that? Bob, are you telling me you don't think that one episode of Columbo spawned at least 3 different filler episodes of Case Closed? It's been running this whole time.
You're right.
Dan, I'm willing to bet a lot of actual Case Closed cases from the manga are Columbo episodes, considering the author loves Columbo and has drawn him before.
100%, some of them have to be. But Dead to Rights, a whole episode very early on, is a very thin version of a Columbo episode that was hyper unique. So I laughed my ass off when I finally watched that episode of Columbo. I'm like, this is amazing. It's like that episode was great. I can never go back and watch that episode again, can I? And then I looked into it. I can't. I tried. It was actually terrible.
I do want to watch more modern Case Closed, just to know how it is compared to modern other mystery shows or mystery animes.
Yeah.
Because every time I tried to watch those, even when I see them being fairly highly rated, they just suck. They're just incredibly bad.
I watched a modern years ago now. So, years ago, I watched a then modern Detective Conan episode, and the batting average was pretty bad. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I guess I'll just have to watch all of Case Closed and then keep track of how many days pass. Oh my God, Shinichi's been this 8-year-old boy for 30 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think people like number crunched it and is like, if we assume each case is, if we go by how many days pass in the show that we see, assuming there are no gaps whatsoever between these murders, he should be an adultian.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of course. I mean, everything else evolves around him. There's smartphones now.
Okay, so sometimes, getting back to the topic again, sometimes in an anime filler arc, the writer has a deep fascination with a weird thing that was brought up once before and not really done again. So I have to ask you, these dials are a constant element, right?
They were introduced in the previous arc and are relevant for a while, yeah.
Okay.
They're not like...
This isn't some soul ribbon shit.
No.
Okay.
They were just the newest thing, so of course they wanted to use the
Obviously,
new toolkit.
that's understandable. I was just making sure I wasn't getting soul ribboned here.
They're pretty relevant for a while, and I think like they evolve into a different thing, I think, rather than
disappear. Yeah.
But they actually, like, there's a character immediately, like in the current manga, like up to date, who uses them.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's good. I'm glad I didn't get soul ribboned.
Right?
I have to keep an eye out for these things. I've been through too much Bleach.
Unlike Bleach and Naruto, One Piece does this weird thing where previous things are connected to future things, like in a linear manner, in a fleshed out world of sorts. Between each arc, they're like, hey, let's do a check-in on everything else we've talked about elsewhere in the world before. It's kind of insane.
That's kind of crazy. Huh. Man, that makes for a really good thing to adapt. I hope they do it at a speed where the main character won't be 35 years old before they get remotely into it.
It's okay. They record the next 2 seasons at once. And then
Are they actually?
That's what they said.
Good. Because, oh my God, this pace is terrible.
It is. It is unbelievable.
If there's one thing to absolutely blame the death of the modern celebrity on, it is the glacial speed at which movies are made and things are made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of hard to be famous if you can only be in one thing every 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, it used to be that you would see a celebrity in a bunch of things at least on an annual basis, right?
Yeah, heck, even when the MCU started, we had, like, they were able to get a lot of those movies out pretty quickly. Even like Iron Man 1 and 2, I don't think we're that far apart.
Yeah, and recently they had the delays and the problems with turning things into streaming shows and stuff. But don't worry, we're getting back into it. It's going to be fine. It's got to be okay. It's got to be great, actually.
Can you stop?
What? What's wrong? I'm just saying over and over, like a mantra of sorts, everything's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to be good, actually. This is messed up. We've done a lot of things for this podcast network. Some advisable, many unadvisable. Never before have I scammed my way into getting to watch something just good. That's never happened. Not like this. I can't believe it was hidden here in the anime filler arc review podcast. This 11 episodes of delightful on-screen character charisma and interaction chemistry, all sorts of fun little gags, absolutely amazing animations of faces.
Between a bunch of, oh man, this is Toei. They can't draw sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how this stacked up, being filler, how it stacked up visually to regular One Piece TV anime.
Heck, I've been watching most of the regular One Piece TV anime on my CRT in my room, sometimes with my glasses off.
As God intended.
So I don't know.
Like, there were a couple shots of this where I'm like, man, drawing One Piece is such a buff, because it's like, is that a fucked up character draw, or is it just a One Piece character?
Yeah, I kept making
I don't know.
the joke of like, now that shot is the only one on model.
I did enjoy how many goofy interactions of violence we had between Luffy and his crewmates on accident. Like, I feel like they lean away from doing this later in the show, but him, like, accidentally, like, beating the heck out of Zoro several times is really funny. Oh my god, there were so many weird animation errors. Like, Dan, you pointed out when they had the question marks appear above their heads. And they forgot to have the background behind one of them, so it literally, like, has a clean cutoff with blackness.
What we need you to imagine is that the other question marks are transparent elements they can slide up and down to do and the rightmost question mark, they forgot to do that, so they cut a literal square out of the background and slid up and down the rock wall behind it, leaving a black void in its place. How do you do that accidentally?
Oh, no. Like, I did see one shot of the docks where there's like this giant gear in the floor, and it's fit into a slot. But half of it's not outlined. It looks like they literally cut a hole in the cell and slid this asset up through it.
Look, the show has to come out every week. Every week.
God bless them. They're doing fine.
They're doing it. They're doing it.
Another thing during the flashbacks when they showed the Going Merry going up the waterfall, the sails, the pirate flags on it disappear in one frame.
Oh yeah, no, both of them just go and they're gone.
Yeah.
Did we make it? You mostly.
There are lots of funny faces we see from Robin, especially. I feel every time she's just a third character in the background, her face is so funny. And I'm not sure if it's intentional or an accident.
Yeah. Oh, man, the stick figure animation
of
Luffy and what was it, Sanji? Going upstairs.
Yeah, I think it was those two.
Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. They're cutting to a wide shot at the outside of this fortress. Luffy and I believe Sanji are traveling up these stairs. They become literal stick figures, and it's amazing. Anyway, I have some ideas inspired by One Piece on how people could cut corners animation-wise and it will be delightful instead of horrible and depressing. Have you considered not drawing the character well in the least? Because you did it in 4 times speed? Delightful. I think the real tragedy here is that between this and Netflix One Piece, I've been told I have to watch 1,000 episodes of television now.
In growing.
Oh.
Isn't there like a fan-made abridged cut that like tries to fix the pacing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it called One Pace?
Yes, it's called that.
It is called One Pace.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is.
It's funny because they certainly got a lot fucking better at doing it as they did it. And they also didn't do it linearly. Like, they started at certain points that they thought were the most egregious and then went back and did earlier stuff. So it's funny, if you actually started that from the beginning, you get kind of well edited, and then you get some dog shit. Like, you get really rough editing, and then it goes back to being okay.
I'm curious, did they do it with the dub or with the sub?
I don't think I have no idea. I would imagine not. Like, I would have that's the kind of project that seems like it's going to be sub only.
It does.
That way, when you cut it mid word, you don't even know.
Oh my god! I went to watch. Like, I had noticed the thumbnail. I'm like, oh, One Piece is on Netflix. I'll just watch it on Netflix. Sure, it's cropped.
Wait, zoom and cropped?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice. I watched it on Netflix. I was like, oh, it's widescreen. Of course, that makes sense. But I'm like, wait, no, this is from 2004.
I think that the Netflix for that part of it also cut out the ending in the next time on, did it?
Yes.
Yeah, that freaked me out so much when I was watching through this on there.
No, I bailed immediately and hit up Crunchyroll.
That makes sense.
We had such a bad experience on Netflix watching something else we watched recently that we were like, we're not even going to boot Netflix to watch One Piece. Oh my God. It was in that show we were watching, it was like 17 instances of, do I look like I know what a JPEG is? Per episode, every episode.
Yeah, it was really funny. Every time it happened was a reverse shot, especially.
Yeah. So it'd be a character talking and then the reverse shot is a JPEG. Yeah. And it happened a lot, more than you would imagine. Anyway, Let's go ahead and wrap things up. Any other comments before we close out with our summer reviews and score of 1 to 25, a scale that was decided upon who knows why.
I just wanted to highlight once more how strong the kitchen scenes are in this arc, where like Sanji has a competition against an entire cooking staff who make 100 meals, waits till they're done, and makes better food out of the scraps they left while lecturing them. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a great scene. I like that the doctor's brain is on an episode-long delay, so only well after the fact is she like, how did you turn giant?
Yes. It's incredible.
We're gonna get you, red raccoon dog.
I forgot how like mangy Chopper looks in the early stuff. He looks way mangier than he does later on. They like make him more.
Yeah,
like,
he gets they like mascotify him.
They do.
Real hard.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still curious if he's going to be hideous CG or a fucking Muppet that is always hidden partially behind something when they do
that would
live
be
action.
Great.
I think that they already showed some CG of him for the live action one.
Boo.
I know.
CG would be fine for his transformations, but I feel like default Chopper needs to be a fucking puppet.
Yeah, he needs to be Grogu.
I'm sorry, who's Grogu?
You know,
What?
baby
You mean
Grogu.
Glup Shido?
Baby Grub Shido. What are you talking about? I don't.
Boba Fett's friend.
Boba Fett has friends?
Yeah,
I didn't see that in the movies.
It's like Watto's cousin or something.
Watto! Anyway, so I'm going to need those scores 1 to 0, technically, to 25. And your summer reviews, we're going to start with Dr. Agro.
So One Piece, the G8 arc, or the Naval Fortress, which is called Navarone. That's really good.
It is,
I wish I'd let my dad force me to watch that World War II movie when I was a kid. It is distinct amongst filler arcs in that it just feels like more of the anime. No complaints. 1 to 25. Sorry, I have to convert my affection in my head. 21.
Bob.
Yeah, this is just like actually solid One Piece content. That's very strange. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's still filler, so it's not like perfect or anything. It has like 3 episodes maybe it didn't need. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 20. It's still a lot of fun.
Chris.
Yeah, this was shockingly good. I'm with Bob, where it's like, I kind of rolled my eyes and it's like, we're about to escape. We have to go back.
We have to go back.
We need the waiver.
Yeah, we need fucking 3 more episodes. Even though we immediately we also extend the next filler arc, or not the next real arc via filler.
No, it's really good. They foresaw the timeline and they're like, we need to have the goal and the gold and the waiver. Otherwise, everything will explode.
I guess I'll give it a 20 as well.
This is great. I sat down to watch another anime filler arc and just ended up watching some of the greatest shit I've ever had to watch for a podcast. What a delightful time. Somehow it really strikes that balance of even the animation mistakes and its shortcomings are delightful in their own ways, which is not always the case. I can tell you from having seen all of Bleach, except for the 1,000 Year Blood War. I'm going to go ahead and... It sounds like I'm copying them, but no, this was literally... I'm doing a 21 as well. Like, this is good. This is really good. This isn't... Oh, it's good, derogatory, but for anime, I guess. This isn't, oh, it's good, but for filler. This is good. This is, like, really, really good. Netflix could have adapted it, and people would have been delighted.
Yeah.
In fact, they should.
They should.
Mel Gibson is Jonathan.
Oh my god.
What a nightmare.
God, if they somehow get the money to do another set of seasons, they do Skypiea in this.
That kind of is how he looks.
Yeah, I know. That's why it occurred to me. Oh,
Like just get Mel Gibson from Fat Man and like tint his hair red.
There you go. Perfect. Nailed it. Well, I'm not used to saying numbers this high, especially in this show. That gives us an average score of 20.5 out of 25 and a sum of 82 points. This is some high-ranking anime material. Weirdly enough, who would have thought it was here? Anyways, look forward to next week where we review yet another anime filler arc from a different anime series. Write in the comments which one you think it's going to be. The executive producers for this month's GigaBoots videos are Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Cooper Tank, BN12, Rado, and Virvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or a normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.